Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises unto YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RICANS. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to mighty Akim, Wakwathium, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity. This is Brother Kawakawa coming at you with another lesson, and today's lesson is going to be entitled "It's Up All." Okay, so basically, the inspiration to do this lesson, all right, it comes from actually multiple different lessons that I was actually watching from other, brothers, primarily GMS, Prophets of Babylon, and anyone that's like-minded. But regardless, the thing was, they had made mention of certain things, and it actually got me to want to show these different precepts and actually put them together, because they didn't necessarily talk about it specifically, as a lesson as a whole. So I wanted to be able to do it and show it off. Anyway, Judges chapter 3 verse 12. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord. So right here we see that the children of Israel, they got on the Most High YAHAWASHI's bad side. All right, and as a result, we see how the Lord. Let me actually get that as well. We see how the Lord punishes them. In addition to that, we have another one. Hold on. It's Sirach chapter 39 verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction that they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail, famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions and serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. So over here, the main thing we want to get is the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. So obviously a sword can't by itself attack someone. It needs to be used. It's a tool. It's a tool for war, tool of destruction. All right. So a sword doesn't just go around and killing people. And the thing is, the meaning of that is, in actuality, someone, the Lord putting the Spirit on someone to go and kill whoever the Lord chooses. All right, and that is the spirit that's created for vengeance. All right, so we see that in 12. Okay, Eglon was put on the Lord put the spirit on Eglon, the king of Moab, to go and destroy and defeat Israel. All right. In addition to that, bear with me one moment. I want to find this. Okay, 1 second. I got it. All right, bear with me one moment, because I definitely have it. It's okay, Slacky, I found it. Ezekiel chapter 28. Slakia, Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 2. Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am Yahweh. I sit in the seat of Yahweh in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and not Yahweh. Though thou set thine heart as the heart of Yahweh. So over here you have an example of someone that is saying that I am the Most High. I'm YAHAWASHI. I am, at the peak of everything, even though they are a man and not a God. Not even a God, but just a man. All right. Verse 3, Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. But thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches. By thy great verse 5. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of Yahweh. Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. Okay, they shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. So right over here, going back into Sirach 39, 28 to 30. Okay, Judges chapter 3 and verse 12. Okay, it shows how if the Lord has a problem with anyone, okay, the Lord will put a spirit on them, put a spirit on someone else to go and cast judgment on that person that the Lord has to deal with, be it heathens or be it Israel. All right, because we went off and we had to deal with this, and then now for the Prince of Tyrus, all right, so he has to, answer for what he's done, and in addition to that, how much more, today, all right, because you have all these, so-called sick people and whatnot, or mentally unstable, or pleading insanity, people that just went around killing people for seemingly no reason. All right, but the reality of it was the fact that what's it called? The reality of it was the fact that the Lord had put a spirit on some X person or whatever to go and destroy them, and on top of that, should they have gotten in trouble for it, or they had to pay for it because that's still murder. All right, it's all because it all ties in together. It's also judgment at the same time. All right, that is the beauty of the Most High Yahweh, because that's a very complex thing. Because the Lord wouldn't take us like one of a brother did make this thing. I was just trying to remember this stuff. A brother did make mention of this, right? Because he had said, he had said that the thing about this whole one video I was watching, Hebrews Defense Force, all right, or if I can find it, Elder Apostle. Okay, so here's the video. This is the Hebrew. We're talking about the Hebrew Defense Unit, all right. And I was watching the video, and they were speaking about it. And the thing is, let's say the Lord made us justified in actually killing someone, all right. Sure, that's fine. But the thing is, we would get our hands dirty, All right, because the Lord doesn't want. Let me get that as let me see if I can get that as a matter of fact. David. But where is it? Slakia, bear with me one moment. Is it First Chronicles 28? Yes, it is. All right then. First Chronicles chapter 28 verse 3, but Yahweh said unto me, thou shalt not build an house for my name, because thou hast made a man, thou hast been, Slakia, let me start over. First Chronicles chapter 28 verse 3, but Yahweh said unto me, thou shalt not build an house for my name, because thou hast been a man of war and hast shed blood. So like we want to have our hands clean for the most part, because at the end of the day, yes, there is gonna come a point where I guess some of us are going to have to, just as one piece of example, Psalm chapter 149 verse 6, let the high praises of Yahweh be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand. All right. So, and let me get this as well. Jeremiah chapter 16 verse 16, behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them, and after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. So, this is basically telling us that, while there are teachers, preachers, and prophets, all right, from YAHAWASHI, there's also going to be hunters. Okay, so the Lord is going to make some of us, okay, not all of us, but some of us, hunters. Okay, I guess lots. There are different lots appointed to us, and heck, maybe, you may never know, because I know I know of many different zealous brothers that would want to go after, or that they do preach and teach, but they would also want to be part of the the hunter side of things. All right, so it's just whatever the Lord appoints them. But there's also brothers that aren't very good at preaching and or teaching. All right, which there's nothing wrong with that. We're a body, so we all have our different roles to do. Okay, and the thing, those brothers that aren't able to teach, heck, maybe they are the ones that are going to be the hunters. You just never know. All right. But regardless of all that, I just want to say, this is all from the Lord to be set up. Okay, going back into the original thing, how the Lord set up, the Eglon, the prince or king of Moab, and then some strangers to take down the prince of Tyrus. Okay, so now it could be that. All right, but again, there's all to understand at where we're at right now. Okay, maybe down the line we might be the hunters to cast judgment, but as of right now, if there's judgment that needs to go out, okay, the Lord does not want to use the Lord does not use his people. Which actually, speaking of which, that reminds me of these those suicide bombers that go around like killing people in the name of their God. Okay, so this very much so shows and proves how the Lord is not sending his prophets, the same people that he as of right now, to go and wreak havoc and cause destruction and executing his judgment. Okay, the Lord is going to, when the time is right, the Lord is going to execute judgment. But he didn't say go suicide bomb and anything like that. All right. Moving on. Okay, so yes, moving on, going back to the whole setup thing. Ecclesiasticus chapter 11 verse 21. Marvel not at the works of sinners, but trust in the Lord and abide in thy labor, for it is an easy thing in the sight of the Lord on the sudden to make a poor man rich. So the thing is, like, how are these things set up? How these things seem to be? All right, like for example, you see a poor person, okay, and then later on that poor person becomes rich, or later on this poor person that you might have helped or whatever is helping you later on down the line. And everything is like it. I want to say like very carefully set up, all right, in such an amazing way. Like, that really just goes to show how there is no real there's no real free will, all right, because a lot of this stuff is set up, and it's going to happen. The Lord is the best planner, or he knows everything and all this stuff. Okay, like, and that's the beauty of the Lord and his works. All right, so even then, all right, with this in mind, let me get this actually to help drive this point home. All right, so John chapter 9 verse 3, Yahawashi answered, neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of Yahweh should be made manifest in him. So all this stuff, like, so the context in here was this man that was born blind. All right, so they asked, the disciples asked. Over here, let's read it. John chapter 9 from the top. And as Yahawashi passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. Okay. And verse 2, and his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? So they were asking Yahawashi, who sinned that caused this man to be blind from his birth? All right. And Yahawashi said, it's not, he didn't sin. All right. He didn't sin to deserve that, and his parents didn't sin to deserve that. He was born blind in order for me to show off the power of Yahawah Ba'Hashem Yahawashi. All right, show off, like, this is the amazing and majesty of Yahawah Ba'Hashem Yahawashi, that he can make someone that's blind see. Is also the same thing. Like, someone could be made poor, all right, and that's the setup to show that it's not because of anything that someone can do, all right, which I'm going to get that as well. All right, it's not from what someone can do, it's just from the Lord that is showing off that nothing is impossible for him. Let me get that as well. First, Luke chapter 1 verse 37, for with Yahweh nothing shall be impossible. All right, and finally, Ephesians chapter 2 verse 9, not of works, lest any man should boast. Okay. Verse 8, For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of Yahweh, not of works, lest any man should boast. So, even this is more so talking about how, we're not going to be saved from ourselves by doing stuff on our own, but we're going to be saved from YAHAWASHI. But also, it also shows that, not in actuality, anything good that comes to us, all right, it's not because of something that we did. It's because the Lord wants to show us, like, this is how amazing that He is, all right? And this is why we need to, remember Him in everything and anything we do, all right? This one, Job. I want to get Job. Okay, Job chapter 2, verse 10. But he said unto her, Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of Yahweh, and shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. So Job was going through hell. Job was catching hell, all right? And he made an excellent point. Are we only to just accept the good from YAHAWASHI and not bad? Like, so, because we are not perfect. We are not perfect yet. We're not doing the best that we're doing. We're not being optimal in terms of pleasing YAHAWASHI. So as a result, and is that just like, okay, well, you just have to, we should only be getting good regardless of if we are evil or not, okay? Which that's completely off. All right. When we go off, we need to be corrected. All right. This is all the setup. Okay. And in addition to that, this is also the setup of being able to show that, well, especially Job. Job wasn't even bad. Okay. This was all the setup to show that having patience and faith in YAHAWASHI, okay, there's a reward in it. It's going to pay off. Job is like the best example of that. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. All right. Now another one. This is a cold one actually. 2 Chronicles chapter 32 verse 15. Now therefore let not Hezekiah deceive you, nor persuade you on this matter, neither yet believe him, for no God of any nation or kingdom was able to deliver his people out of mine hand and out of the hand of my fathers. How much less shall your God deliver you out of mine hand? So this I forgot his name, but this heathen king was saying, hey, out of all I've been me and my fathers have been ruling for so many generations, okay, and out of all, and we've destroyed all these other nations' gods and conquered all these other nations and whatnot. So if all their gods couldn't save them, what makes you think that your God can save you? And he's talking to the Israelites, saying that the Israelites' God, YAHAWASHI, can't save them. But lo and behold, okay, he was wrong. All right, this is the type of stuff. This is the type of setup. All right, it all goes back into the type of setup, like the setup of, okay, the Lord let him be that powerful. The Lord let him, conquer all those other nations in order for him to say this right here and show that the Lord is not like these other gods. All right, the Lord is actually the Most High God and is an actual God and has actual power. All right. Like this, that's an amazing thing to be able to see. All right, like imagine that. Like say for example, like, hey, I've beaten every man I've ever met in my life. So what makes you think that you as another man can beat me? And then that man just beats them. Okay, they break the win streak. And see, that's another thing. I really have to say it, like, for me, when I'm playing a video game, right, and I see someone has a 10 win streak, a 20 win streak, 50 win streak, or whatever, all right, and when I'm able to cut that win streak, okay? Not even just me, but just people in general. They feel accomplished, all right? They feel like, oh my God, I stopped this dude. I stopped this dude's win streak, all right? And that is a beautiful thing. That's an amazing thing. Wonderful. Because the Lord, he stops that win streak. And as a matter of fact, he set it up so that only YAHAWASHI could stop that win streak, all right? And that's a beautiful thing, all right? Let me move on to this. Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father? Okay, so the thing is, no matter what, because of the setup of YAHAWASHI, nothing can happen without the Lord YAHAWASHI authorizing it. Okay, just like with Job. Okay, Satan wasn't able to mess with Job unless the Lord gave him authorization to do so. All right, like nothing can happen. We are untouchable if we are on the Most High's good side, and the Most High says no one's going to touch it. All right. So now Joshua chapter 9 verse 9, and they said unto him from a very far country, thy servants are come because of the name of the Lord thy power, for we have heard the fame of him and all that he did in Egypt. So right here we see very far country. There's people that the thing is, with all the stuff that happened, okay, primarily in Egypt, all right. Slucky, by the way, background noise. From all the stuff that happened in Egypt, when they heard it, all right, they said like, oh yeah, you know what, they are actually a cold ass nation. That the Lord YAHAWASHI delivered them. I don't want to mess with them. All right. So with that, I hope this was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahawashi, Ba'Hashem, Rakakwadah, double honors to the millstone, DTA, Abad, Babal, and Shalom.